Yo,
Top of the morning, top of the morning.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the.
What's good, YouTube fam? I'm back with another great video, and today I'm gonna be breaking down this new CLB type beat. Shout out to my guy Drake. What a phenomenal album. Shout out to the homies that was on the album. Drake definitely could have stepped it up a bit more, but overall, great project. The beat I got for y'all today, bro, is so like crazy, man. And it's so simple too. When I was making that beat, I was definitely going for like a 90s vibe, and that's really kind of like the vibe that I got from this overall CLB album. Was like, you know, nighttime
romance, lover boy vibe. So
I wanted to create like a lover boy beat that like bump in the whip, as you heard. But first thing, when I made this beat, I wanted some kind of like pluck sound, but I wanted something that was kind of like a synthy guitar. So I pulled up the Analog Lab and I found this preset called Bell Woods, and it's a pluck key preset in the new Nahum Millennia Bank, which is very hard. Shout out to Loophole.
But literally, the chord progression is like very simple.
I don't have a lot of filler notes. I don't have a lot of top line melody. I literally just have a chord progression with some space in between each chord. And then literally all I really did was add some velocity and I strummed the notes. Because if you look at my velocities, like the velocities are very simple. It's nothing too crazy. You know, just add some velocities to make the track as dynamic as possible. It's already giving me them CLB certified lover boy vibes. This is definitely giving me standing outside the girl you love apartment like, baby, I love you. It's giving me that type of swag. But my mixer chain, nothing too crazy, per usual. First, I started out with an effect rack and I used the preset, the 40 effect, once again to kind of drown out the sound. This is my go-to for anyone who's looking for like that 40 Drake sound. It's in my new synthesis bank also. Get at that, link in description. Next, I use some shaper box to provide some movement. I use reels and I created my own preset using the initial settings. Usually when I use reels on this particular melody, the only purpose I wanted to use it for was to kind of give it a tapey lo-fi effect, to kind of drown out the sound, to kind of emphasize that water sounding effect that I was talking about earlier. Lastly, I used another effect rack preset and I used this reverb preset, a part of my synthesis bank called Royalty Patillo. This doesn't really do nothing too crazy. It just kind of leaves that after effect.
For my bass,
I used Trillion once again, and I used this really great preset called the CS80 Big and Warm, and I really absolutely love this bass simply because it comes from one of my favorite synths ever made, the Yamaha CS80. I just really overall love CS80 sounds. I think it's an overall really great synth. I really love this bass because it was like a subbier, wider bass, more synthesized bass as well, and I believe that goes well with the Drake sound. And if you look at my notes, nothing too crazy. Once again, I'm leaving space in between certain notes to follow that chord progression that I had. As you can see that some of the notes overlap each other, and the reason why I overlap the notes because they kind of like glide into each other to create more of like that 40 Drake Toronto sound. Effects, I used a Fruity Parametric EQ, took out crazy high end, and I took out some of the low end because like I said, you know, there's a difference between bass and sub. Next, I used a Decapitator plugin and I used my own preset Doom Bass. I used the OTT to tuck it more into the mix. As you can see, I took out mad high end, I emphasized some of the mids, and I heavily increased the lows. So for the next part of our melody, I basically took the same chords from the chord progression and I copied and pasted it
into a new sound.
So I found this sound in the Analog Lab. It's actually a part of the Estrella Sounds library. It's called Beam Me Up. I thought the sound was dope, but it got crazier after the processing. So this is what it sounds like with no processing whatsoever. Like you see, it's like
Completely bland, like
it's tasteless, bro.
it's like white chicken with no seasoning, like literally.
After I had the sound copied and pasted, I consolidated it, I added it to the mixer, and I added 3 effect racks to my mixer channel. First effect rack, I used this preset from my new synthesis bank called Expanded Delay, and I wanted to use this to kind of widen the sound. Next, I added one of my most favorite presets a part of the pack called Party Next Door. I use this a lot, especially when it comes to like
R&B sounding type of sounds, melodies, whatever, you know.
And I use this to kind of drown out the sound a little bit. And the last preset that I used was a Kill September Solstice preset called Sonderverb. Really added some space to it and really brought it to life, honestly. Like literally how I go from the dry sound to this, like, and all I used was 3 effect racks. It don't take a lot. But after I had that melody laid down, next I wanted to kind of lay some percussion and just kind of build the beat out. First thing I laid down was this simple 4-step hi-hat pattern. As you can see, if you look at the MIDI, I leave a space in between every 4 notes. And after I had that hi-hat pattern, I added this perk,
This perk, this perk.
this the sauce right here for real. And then this the last perk. I think it's like a reverse open hat. Yeah, and just so you guys can see the placement for each of the perk sounds, as you can see, like this is really where the bounce takes place. See, it's already sounding jazzy already. Next, I added a simple, basic snare pattern. Literally, I think it's like a snare, clap, snap. And then after that, I found this pluck sound in the Oliver Pope pack out of Splice.
I just kind of liked how it sounded.
All I added was like a chorus June 6. But like it was, yeah.
Man, wait till y'all see how simple the kick is. Like literally.
Look at all this space between the kicks, bro. I don't have a lot of kicks. My kicks are not busy. I let the hi-hats and the perks do the work. Yeah, but after that, I thought the beat was like completely done. But I laid down this counter top line melody that was like
Crazy fire, bro.
found this sound in the Holmes Millennia Bank called Certified. It actually added a good switch up for the beat.